Hey, what's going on everyone? Vega here for SerpentX Tech, and my two S19K Pros here are running ePic blockchain control boards. No dev fee, you just buy the control board outright, and you're able to hash away on whatever mining pool you want, mining Bitcoin or any other SHA-256 token. But the reason we're making this video is, if you look at the power draw, they're about on par, right? They're overclock S19K Pros. We got 3,700 watts on here, but we also have the AlphaPex unit on it, and then we have 3150, right? So this is 3,100 watts, and then around 29 to 3,000 watts on this one. Again, slightly overclocked. Liquid temperatures are doing really good, but we bumped into an issue, and I thought it was the lightning strike that caused it. These guys started to climb up. Specifically, this one was sitting around 4,200 watts, so that's almost 1,000 watts higher. And then this one was sitting at 4,700 watts, and I couldn't figure out why. But I exported the logs, right? Because you can go into the logs of these miners on any of your ASICs, no matter what the firmware is. There should be logs, and you can submit that to the team, in this case, the ePic blockchain team. And it turns out I wasn't the only one, and it's something called voltage creep. And it was in their perpetual tune program, which all that does is you got board tune, chip tune, and I think another perpetual tune feature. And these things were voltage creeping on the board tune. And when I talked to one of our colleagues in the space, CryptoMikel, I let them know this, and it sounded odd to them. It sounded odd to myself. So submitting the logs to ePic Blockchain helped us identify something, and it seems we weren't the only ones experiencing this issue. Matter of fact, let's see if we can get CryptoMikel on the horn and talk to him about the conversation we had. So here I have Mikel on the horn with us, and Mikel, do you remember a conversation where I said my two S19K Pros were all of a sudden chewing up more power draw than they previously used to? Remember that conversation?
I do.
Okay, come to find out, it wasn't the lightning strike as I suspected. It was actually ePic Blockchain came out with a new revision to their software, their Antminer software, and they do have it for WhatsMiner as well if you're interested. Again, this is a board that you can buy for your miners that has no dev fee. You just pay it one time and then that's it. Obviously, you're going to pay fees for the pools and transactions and stuff like that, but it's really cool. So, Mikel, I wasn't the only one being impacted by this. So on version 1.6.1, which the last one was 1.4.6, apparently there was something called fixed voltage creeping over time. So it wasn't the lightning strike, and it wasn't just me. This just came out 3 weeks ago, but of course I'm not on top of it in real time. But perpetual tune, board tune specifically, had a voltage creep problem. So that's why my ASICs were drawing 4,000, 4,200 watts, 4,600 watts, respectively, because there were other machines on the other one. It wasn't the lightning strike, and it wasn't the abnormalities that I impacted me after the lightning strike. It was just the fact that the board tune. So I sent the logs into ePic Blockchain. They looked at it. I wasn't the only one. And now there's a new feature out 3 weeks ago that allows users that. What are your thoughts real quick before I let you go?
So there was a fix for voltage creepage. Is that what I'm gathering here?
Yeah.
So the voltage was creeping, and now there's a fix for that, but it happened on a previous version.
Yes, correct. 1.46, and I think some of the earlier ones, they did some stability improvements, but then they found this weird, and if voltage is creeping up, obviously that will impact your power draw. Do you agree with that? Because you're overvolting some of those individual chips. It's board tuned, but it's going to be adjusting per chip on that board to try to find the most efficient range for the terahash or the hash rate you want.
Correct.
Have you experienced that in any of the facilities that you worked at? I don't think you guys use ePic blockchain boards. It's just too expensive for a large operation to buy a board for each device. It's just better to just flash it with maybe a third-party firmware, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, a lot of the stuff I deal with is mainly like Vanish, Luxor OS, things like that, because it's just an operating system on existing hardware, not buying new hardware to replace your control boards. I run ePic blockchain in my S19J Pro, but it's not on right now. So the moment I turn mine on, I'm gonna have to update it.
Okay, good to know. So I just wanted to share that with you and also get you on the recording because I remember speaking to you about this, and it was unusual for you and unusual for me. And so I did a little bit of providing data to the team, and they came around with a fix, which I thought was really cool. So make sure if you're running an ePic blockchain control board, if you're on 1.46 or older, that you consider upgrading to 1.61, which I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is right now. But Crypto Mikkel, thank you for hopping on a quick call with us just so we can talk about that conversation we had because I found it very unusual.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you for reaching out, and I'll be sure to let other people know. I'm sure some people use them. A lot of uh, large scale farms don't invest in control board fixes, like aftermarket control boards, not fixes, but just aftermarket control boards. Uh, so
I'm sure there's some facilities that run them on some of their machines, but as far as cost effectiveness for thousands of machines, I could see why it wouldn't be as cost effective. But yeah,
yeah,
share it out there. 1.6.1 out 3 weeks ago at time of recording. But it's always good to just update your firmware. Would you say even if you're using Vinesh, Brains, LuxOS, whatever, it's always good to make sure your devices and firmware are up to date. Now, one more question that just popped into my head. If you're operating a farm with thousands of machines, let's say 5 megawatts or whatever, you wouldn't update your firmware at real time. So if a firmware update comes out right now from LuxOS, you wouldn't update your firmware right then and there, right? You would wait. Maybe some bugs came out with that latest release, allow it some time to kind of flourish throughout the market. And then if it's stable, it's good, then you guys will update it. But you don't update all your machines at once. You stagger the machines, right? When you're doing maintenance and stuff like that.
for sure. Yeah, you stagger it when you're doing maintenance to balance the load out because you have machines going offline and coming back online. But yes, also to your statement, we don't. If a new firmware came out right now, I'm not updating the entire fleet right now because if there's a bug, then my entire fleet has a bug.
Right.
So wait a few days, see the general feedback.
And go
If it's
from there.
good, then go from there.
Okay.
But a few
Appreciate
days
it.
to a week, probably as far as you would really want to stretch it, in case there's any vulnerabilities.
Right. Right. So if
So
you don't know Crypto Mikkel, I'm gonna have a link down in the description. One of the not I don't like the term influencers, but crypto content creators in the space, been around for a hot minute, works with proper facilities and proper equipment and proper industries. Very knowledgeable. Maybe doesn't make as much content as our favorite colleagues do as far as time and releases, but when they do make content, it's very knowledgeable. FPGAs, ASICs, GPUs, the whole 9 yards, even AI, right? Clore, if you're interested in that. So check out Crypto Mikkel. I'll have a link down in the description. And now let's switch over and show you how easy it is to update your ePic blockchain firmware on your ASIC miners. Doesn't matter if it's the X, J, the K, whatever it might be. Any of the miners, ePic blockchain control boards can be used on it. To update your ASIC, you can do it from the miner itself. You can see in the bottom right hand corner, we're on 1.46 on this machine, and then this one is on 1.6.1. Looking at it, basically, this is the 110 terahash model, and I could make it more efficient, but during the heat here in Florida, it does get a little bit wonky. That's usually around just 2-3 joules per terahash, and then this one's mostly in the 22.5, 22.6 joules per terahash range. Again, these things are overclocked a little bit, but I need to do some more fine tuning for the summer because the summer has messed around with my temperatures. You can see we're actually pushing 131, 137 terahash when it's actually set for 125. And then this one 136, but right now 124 at the local miner, but 136 at the pool. Now to update, we go to System Update tab in the middle. And then you're going to browse and select the file. In this case, the file is on their GitHub. I'll link it down in the description. They got different ones here, right? So you got the S19 SD recovery update. I just get this one right here, PowerPlay Antminer Update V 1.6.1. If you're rocking the same thing as me, the S19K Pros, XPs, whatever it might be. You could get the legacy one if you have a legacy S19 miner. You also have the SD recovery if you need to use your SD card because for some reason you can't update over the air. And then they have the PowerPlay dual amp miners, right? So these are all for specific devices. For you and I, it's just going to be these two right here. You download that. It's going to go to your downloads. And again, you're just going to go to System Update, Browse, and go to wherever you downloaded that file. In this case, I put it in the folder that I manage all my devices in, ePic UMC, and then here it is. And then don't unzip it, select it, and hit Open. But I also have the desktop application that if I go ahead and search for it real quick, ePic Dashboard, it's going to give you a local kind of like interface instead of on the browser. It doesn't have a password, but you can set a password just for your session, or you could skip it. And then you're going to see your miners under a table, and we can select the miner. We know which one it is, but if we scroll to the right, you can see the firmware version that it's rocking. It is somewhere nearby. There it is, 1.46. Skip right past it. And then we can go to System, and then here's the update firmware section. We can maintain our config, hit Browse, right? Go to, again, wherever you have the folder for that, or the file for that ASIC. Select it, open, and then hit Apply. On the browser, once you have selected it, open, and then apply. Now, what's going to happen is it's going to take some time, okay? It's going to take some time for it to effectively apply, right? And if you don't know the password for your machine, you want to make sure you have that in here. But if we hit apply, the device is going to reboot, and then it's going to give you status updates, right? So update in progress, firmware update complete, system rebooting, whatever it might be. Let that all flush out. Let that all finish, and then your device will be flashed over to the latest firmware. And I love ePic Blockchain and their control boards. Like I said, they have a number of boards available for different types of miners. Not every single one, but a majority of them. What's Miner, Block Miner, Ant Miner. You could just use the dashboard if you want to. And just like you would with LuxOS, BrainsOS, whatever it might be, you can have multiple devices rocking these boards that don't have a dev fee just hashing away and trying to get you some more Bitcoin or whatever your SHA-256 token is that you like, right? UMC series, the OS, and then mining rigs. They actually had some ePic block miner model 520i. Those are sold out. Those are one of the older models. They might not be as efficient as they used to be. The 740A also sold out. But they're a leader in the blockchain space that I really love. I really absolutely love. Check it out. Make sure you update yours if you haven't updated already. And that's going to do it for today's video. So do me a favor on the way out. Hit that like button, get subscribed, hit notification to stay up to date, as well as checking out links in the description to help support the channel and what we do here. Like a link to Crypto Mikkel. Go check him out. Give him a subscribe. Give him a follow on social. Very knowledgeable individual. Besides that, you have yourself a wonderful day. Take care. I'll catch you next one.